Okay, so this lesson, the equation of lines, is going to be in two parts. The first part is going to talk about slopes and parallel perpendicular lines. The slope is the rate of change. The formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember that what we're doing here is we're looking at the slope between 2 points. And they both have an x and y, so we have to tell them apart somehow. So the first point is x1, y1, second point is x2, y2. Notice and remember that they have to correspond vertically here. The y2 goes over the x2 and the y1 goes over the x1. That's why we have it in that specific order, so that you don't, that they correspond. The rate of change is related to slope, and in context, meaning with real world situations, the rate of change is how fast the dependent value which is usually the y, changes with respect to the independent value. Which is x. Okay, parallel lines. Remember, parallel lines, they never cross, and so they're slanted exactly the same. Since they're slanted exactly the same, they have the same slope. So if you look down here at this graph, if I have line L, line M is going to be parallel to it. Notice that it increases at the same rate as line L, so they will have the same slope. If we're talking about a perpendicular line, perpendicular lines, they're not going to have the same slope. They're going to intersect and form a right angle. Okay, so perpendicular lines, their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. Which means opposite signs and flipped. So if we're talking about the slope of line L, let's say the slope of line L is 1/4. Since line M is parallel to line L, the slope of line M is also equal to 1/4, not negative. Line N is perpendicular. It's negative reciprocal. So since line L is positive 1/4, negative reciprocal means the slope is going to be a negative, and then we flip the fraction, so that's 4/1. Okay, so let's look at example number 1. Find the slope between these three sets of lines. So whenever I write slope, I just write y minus y over x minus x. I don't use the 2 and the 1 because I know that I need to keep them straight. So it doesn't matter which point you start with. 6, negative 2 could be x1, y1, or negative 3, negative 5 could be x1, y1. It doesn't matter. but I'm just going to go ahead and start with this as being x1, y1, x2, y2. So -5 minus, it's this -5 minus whatever that second y is, -3 minus 6. Those signs change and you have -3 over -9, which reduces to +1/3. You always want to reduce your fractions. Okay, between -3 and 4 same thing. M equals y minus y over x minus x. This time I'm going to do, this is going to be x2, y2, this is going to be x1, y1, because it doesn't matter. So that's 3 minus 3 over -3 minus 4, which is 0 over -7. 0 divided by anything means that the slope is 0. This is a horizontal line. Okay, for C, y minus y, 2 minus -3 over 4 minus 4 is 5 over 0. If 0 is in the denominator, that means the slope is undefined. It's a vertical line. Okay, so example number 2, determine whether line AB and line CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so if they're parallel, they have the same slope. If they're perpendicular, the slopes are negative reciprocals. Anything else is neither. Okay, so first let's find the slope of line AB. That's y minus y over x minus x. So 13 minus 0 over 14 minus -11. Okay, so the slope of line AB is 13 over 25. In order for CD to be parallel, I have to get 13 over 25. In order for line CD to be perpendicular, I have to get -25 over 13. So let's see what we get when we do the slope of line CD. Seven minus -5 over -3 minus -4. So we have 12 over 1. Since the slopes are not the same and they're not negative reciprocals of each other, then they are neither parallel nor perpendicular. Okay, we're going to do this one. Slope of line AB. So y minus y over x minus x. 6 minus 2 over 3 minus -9. So that's 4 over 12, which is 1/3. Now we're going to look at the slope of CD. Y minus y over x minus x. So 4 minus 3 over 5 minus 2 is 1/3. Since I got the exact same number for both slopes, AB is parallel to CD. Okay, example number 3 says graph the line that contains 0, 1 and is perpendicular to line QR with Q as -6, -2 and R 0, -6. Okay, so first of all, I need to find out the slope of QR. So y minus y over x minus x. So that is 4 over -6, which is -2/3. So the slope of line QR is -2/3, but they want me to graph the line that's perpendicular to it. For perpendicular, the perpendicular line is going to be, I'm going to flip the fraction and change the sign. So my perpendicular line is going to be have a slope of +3/2. So then when I graph, it goes through 0, 1, and it goes up 3, right 2. This is the line that goes through 0, 1 and is perpendicular to line QR. Now let me show you line QR real quick. Let's say it goes through the same point, but it goes down to right 3. It's going to be about like that. The one in red is the one you're supposed to